How's it going, everybody? I'm your host, the Carolina Collector. Before I begin, I want to say thank you so much to each and every single one of you that continue to support this channel and my eBay store. Thank you to my friends, family, neighbors, subscribers, viewers, customers. All of you are just amazing human beings. If you're not subscribed and you enjoy the content, I'd appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, comment in the comment section below, hit the bell to receive notifications, and if you are a sports card collector or jersey collector or what have you, I have an eBay store called the Carolina Collector 001. The link is in the description box of every video and short that I upload here on YouTube. And also follow me on eBay. Forgive me to my regular customers and even potential new ones. I haven't really listed groups of cards or batches of cards in the past few days. I have been liquidating some of my graded slabs today. As a matter of fact, I just mailed out an Ellie De La Cruz 2024 Topps Series 1 flagship team border rookie card that was graded in SGC 9.5. So thank you to the customer that paid for it. That thing is out the door already. So thank you. But check it out, everybody. It goes to help to support the channel. And with that being said, here we go again. I'm definitely going to need some refreshment. Not sponsored, by the way. Minute Maid, zero sugar. As you know, I've been trying to watch out. You know, I care very much about my health. I'm almost 50 years old. I'm trying to control my weight and my blood sugar. And this stuff is really, really good. I love the way this tastes, because some of the sugar-free stuff is bland and gross. It tastes like Windex or something else. Not saying I drink Windex, but the flavors can leave a lot to be desired. But this stuff I actually really like. I buy them like 4 or 5 bottles at a time. So cheers, everybody. Because I am cottonmouth. I hate having to constantly talk about the same bland, boring subject, guys, but it needs to be called out because I am an eBay seller, but I am also a hobbyist, and it sucks when my fellow collectors are buying my cards. They expect those cards to arrive. And yet again, the post office has effed me in the A, if you catch my meaning. I know my last video was laced with vulgarity. I'm trying to control myself here and self-censor. That's why I'm wearing my Red Letter Media stuff. If you guys ever watched those dudes, Jay and Mike, I'm huge fans of theirs. This is actually fan-made. I did this myself because I needed a damn distraction. Today was just one of them days. I just got off the phone with my mother. Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 10:13 p.m.
So you can see it's getting pretty late. And I already did a Transformers video today, so I'm really not used to doing double uploads. But anyway, we have yet another lost card case. So, yet again, my post office, and I have to say it's my post office because it's the same scenario that I've discussed here and showed on this channel many a time, that once these cards pass through the Charlotte post office, poof, they vanish. But when I look at my feedbacks and I see the numbers going up and up and up, a lot of people are receiving their sports cards. As a matter of fact, I think it's something with eBay now that anytime one of my cards gets delivered, I'm now getting text messages from them. I don't know if any of you are receiving text messages if you're eBay sellers, but in my case, lately I've been getting delivery notices through text from eBay that my customers' cards are being delivered. Ho, ho, ho. It's about time they implemented that sort of thing. They should have did that a long time ago. But yet we have another lost card. So here's a Juan Soto Bowman Chrome Fuchsia out of $2.99 that I sold to one of my customers, right? This thing I mailed out myself, and it says here, you sold this item on June 25th, 2025, and I'll show you that it did, in fact, ship, because I have that right here. Now, not to dox my customer, I have blocked out his name and the tracking number, but you can clearly see, and here's all the information about the card as well. You can see I shipped the card out in good faith. You can stop the video and look at it right here. That's the card. And you can see, again, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28214. And then, poof, disappears. And now as a result, and the customer has been a cool person so far and said it's been a month. And here's the proof. Here's the case. Here's the claim they opened up. I don't understand what's going on. I know I've beaten this topic to death, but it needs to be called out. The post office here in Charlotte, as you know, one of my most recent videos, I actually had a clip, I believe it was from WSOC, where 75,000 packages across North Carolina, at least in my neck of the woods, whether it's Cabarrus County or here in Mecklenburg County, they're sitting. They haven't moved. Or they're just poof, they disappeared. And yet it's costing me money. So I did contact the customer, and I hope the customer is watching, because I did offer a compromise. I found that I have 2 Juan Soto Update Series Gold out of 2024s to replace that card, should the customer agree to that. If not, I'm going to have to issue a refund. It's $2. Well, it's $3.68 because of the shipping and all that stuff. But that's $3.68 that's supposed to be in my pocket now. I'm going to have to give back to the customer because the post office screwed this up. And we already know that eBay does not protect sellers. And you saw, if you guys are regular viewers and subscribers to the channel, I normally would print out receipts like this, but there was too much for me to print out. I was too annoyed and too aggravated. Anybody can go to my eBay account. You can see my feedbacks and all that crap. You know, there's 6 negatives by people that were trying to extort me and blackmail me through what they call feedback extortion because they didn't get their way with me. I mean, it's just ridiculous and stupid, you know, but listen, I try to be transparent here on YouTube. And I like to produce the receipts because I want to be an honest seller to all of you. I mean, you know, I've sold over 1,300 items to this day or something like that, or whatever it is. I forget. It's like 1,000 something. I forget what the numbers are. But I think my reputation, you know, is in good standing with a lot of you. Many of you are repeat customers. You get your orders when you know, there might be some delays on my part because of personal reasons. I might get sick, or it might be raining outside, or what have you, or I might be busy, or there's family issues. You know, like recently, and again, I hate to mention it, with the passing of my dad, I had to shut down my eBay store for almost a week because I had to focus on my family back in New York. I had to travel, unfortunately. You know, may my dad rest in peace. But anyway, you know, I try to be as transparent with all of you as possible. And to my customers, please forgive me. I unfortunately forgot a page to print out for all of you, but eBay actually now has a disclaimer where eBay even is acknowledging that packages are showing up late or not showing up at all. And I cannot for the life of me understand why. And again, as a union man myself, I know how union people operate. I've talked about UPS in that video yesterday, how they'll run through their route and then go park their truck someplace and go hide until it's time to punch out, so that they can sit back in their truck and do whatever they want. Post office does it too. Don't tell me you don't. Yes, you do. But in this case, yet again, you know, this seems to be a very honest, cool customer, and I appreciate their patience because they said, you know, the card hasn't come in a month, something to that effect. And I messaged them back apologizing, and I did offer them this card. So if you're watching, I do have a gold out of 2024 on standby should you want this card. If you're watching this video, at least I can do that. You know, a Soto for Soto. I know it's not the fuchsia out of 299, and my deepest apologies for that. But again, the post office here has dropped the ball, and you can see clearly the card was shipped, tracking number provided, in transit, Charlotte, North Carolina 28214, and then poof. And you can even see it up on top. Running behind original estimate Saturday, June 28th. It's Saturday, June 5th. What's today's date? You see it yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. It's not me. I am doing my part for you. My fellow collectors want my cards. They buy their cards. I try to get them their cards. But it seems like 1 out of every... And this is just a number I'm pulling out of thin air because I really haven't sat down and do the math. But I'm going to say for every 12 cards that I sell, 1 seems to disappear into the ether. And I can't explain it. I don't know why. If you watched, well, I kind of have an idea why. I shouldn't really say that. Let me backtrack on myself here a little bit. If you saw that video that I uploaded not that long ago with that news clip from WSOC here in North Carolina, 75,000 parcels sitting there, not moving. Imagine if you are on permanent disability, like I am, because of the issues I got from that wonderful event that took place in my former home of the it, what, who pronoun capital of the world, New York City in 2001, where, let's just say if I needed medication and things like this happen where the post office is getting delayed. God forbid if I had cancer like my dad had, or maybe one of you may have health issues and the post office is holding your stuff hostage. And in my opinion, allegedly, this may be a silent protest against Trump because Trump has threatened to privatize them. I don't know if that's the reason why. I have no idea. You got to see the mailman that's delivering. It's not the mailman himself. You got to see the truck he's driving. He even said it today, and the big manager was outside of my property. God bless her. She's such a nice lady. He said this truck was from 1985 or something like that. It's one of them old school white blocky looking trucks, paint chipping and rust and all that kind of stuff. I thought we had brand new USPS vehicles floating around out there somewhere. I'm not going to get into any of that stuff, but the point is, it's like, are the post office really scraping the bottom of the barrel here? Again, it's going to cost me money and I'm going to be out this fuchsia card. And again, just for the sake of transparency, I'm going to run through all of this again. You can see it yourself. You see the post office and eBay even says it, running behind, blah, blah, blah. The card was shipped out in good faith. You can see it right there. I did my part. Any of you that have bought cards off me or anything else, I really, really fight for you guys and gals out there. But in this case, I got a feeling I'm going to end up losing out again. This is happening far too often and way too much. It's the post office. You see it all right there. That's the claim that was filed as of today. So it's ridiculous, and it's happening far too often now that there's clearly something going on with the post office here in Charlotte. And the sick part of it is all of our mail, no matter where you live, gets funneled from only a handful of locations here. But it seems this 28214, which I believe is North Charlotte, seem to be the ones that are gumming up the works. I'm not accusing them of anything, and I'm saying this allegedly and in my opinion. It could be that potentially somebody's stealing these cards from the post office. Years ago, if you actually look it up, you look up Pineville, North Carolina, the post office that I drop off my cards at, which is walking distance from here, they were illegally dumping people's mail into dumpsters over at the strip mall where Walmart is. And I walked back there, and there's nothing but dumpsters for the dry cleaners, there's a hair salon there, there's a brand new soccer shop they opened, there's a cigarette shop there, and they all have dumpsters back there when they get their deliveries and stuff like that. And years ago, that post office was dumping mail in the dumpster right behind the post office there. And they got busted for doing it because people here were not getting their mail. And people throughout Pineville and in neighboring towns were not getting their stuff. So they were just taking it upon themselves to dump it in the garbage. You can't do that. What happens, now I know they're trying to do away with paper Social Security checks. I've been watching that kind of content lately. Everything I do is electronic. In some cases, I'll mail stuff out, what have you. But, what happens if you're a senior citizen in a wheelchair and you depend on your Social Security check and some asshole at the post office just decides to throw it out in the trash? You're out that check. What do? You starve? You can't pay your rent or your bills? That sucks. Again, I mentioned if thank God at least I'm able to be up on my 2 feet. And I do got my health issues and medical issues. But let's just say if I had to order that medication online through my doctor, and the only way it can get to me is to be shipped via mail, and it's in their hands. Try to imagine, especially if it's life or death. It's a very sad, sick situation that I'm going through here, ladies and gentlemen. But again, my apologies to this customer. Again, I try to be transparent with all of you. I know the previous video, I didn't produce receipts. I wish I did in hindsight. But again, I was so aggravated and so angry yesterday because of everything that happened. And finally, as a matter of fact, as a side note, I don't have them here. I think I left them in my car downstairs. The lost fuses, the J-case fuses, the seller sent them through Amazon and they arrived today. Sent me a replacement. So if you're watching this, thank you for doing that. I actually replaced all the fuses in the top section of my car's computer. I mean, there's still a few issues, but at least through the process of elimination, I'm able to figure out what's wrong with my car. And I think it's just the thermostat is all screwed up. Because the AC with the relays I ordered, man, my AC turned right on because of the heat. It zapped the relays in my car and some of the fuses. So at least I got that going for me, that them fuses finally showed up. And also, I mentioned those cardboard sleeves that I use for my sports cards when I mail them out. Guess what showed up today? So finally, I'm getting some results. I just wish somebody from the post office was watching this channel, because I'm going to continue to call them out. I'm going to continue to produce the receipts. This isn't fair to my customer. It's not fair to any of my customers when you don't receive cards. And again, I'm not withholding your cards. My feedbacks on eBay prove that. And many of you have responded in kind, and many of you commented in the comment section of my videos. It was shipped out. You can see it's running behind, but here it is. It went to 28214, which I believe is North Charlotte. Poof, disappeared. Disappeared. Again. So if you are that particular customer, here's the offer, to replace that card if you choose to do so. At least I could do that for you. But if, you want your money back, I have no problem with that. I mean, that's what I have to do, unfortunately. And that's what I have to do. I'm trying to run an honest business here. And it really, I take it personally. As somebody that had financial issues throughout most of his adult life, believe me, I understand what it is. You work hard. You want to spend your money on stuff that you like. It'd be like me. Again, I'm going to pull my Studio Series Optimus Prime off of my desk here. I broke my hump to get this guy. And I expect it to be delivered. I expect my package to show up at my front door. I expect this thing not to be broken. I expect this thing not to be dented or scratched or anything like that. But, when it doesn't show up at all, I take it very personally, guys. That's why I make these videos. And at least I hope you all appreciate that. I deeply apologize that your envelopes are not showing up. And I appreciate some of you that have been honest, that you would message me first. I would say, my response is the same. They're falling behind. It's been taking, on average, anywhere between 3 weeks to almost 30 days for my orders, from the time you order your cards to the point where you receive them in your mailbox, your front door, wherever have you, your P.O. box. I don't understand it. I can't explain it. The only thing I can think of is when it comes to things like this, it's the goddamn post office. Maybe allegedly somebody's stealing my orders. I don't know. You have to think and assume the worst. It sucks. And it costs me money. That's why I've been forced to sell those slabs. I didn't want to sell off that Ellie De La Cruz. I plopped it in the mailbox tonight. The Team Border 9.5 SGC. I didn't want to sell that. I made some good money on it. Don't get me wrong. But I didn't want to sell that. It's because of things like this. Don't swear. Because of stuff like this that's on my floor. It's aggravating, folks. It really is. And I will continue to call out the United States Postal Service until they get their shit straight. Forgive me for swearing. I can't help myself this time. They need to get their shit straight. And I will call you bastards out every chance I get. I hope Trump takes you people over. I really do. I hope Trump comes in there and overhauls the entire Postal Service. You fat, lazy union bastards. And I'm a union guy, but I know how union people operate and how they do certain things. Just like with the Teamsters, with UPS. They'll run through their route and then they'll go find a place to hide. They don't care where they put the package. They don't care where they throw it, where it ends up. So long as they get through their route and they can sit there and twiddle their thumbs for 2 hours. Eating takeout, Burger King, whatever have you. They do that. Yes, they do. Can't get over on a guy like me. I understand human nature quite well. I understand how union people operate. And let me tell you, the Postal Workers Union are by far the worst. They surrendered their collective bargaining agreement, so they can't even strike. And if they walk off the job, they risk losing their job permanently. A guy like myself, whenever we had job walk-offs and contract disputes, like what happened recently, as a matter of fact, what was that, in Philadelphia? Where the hell was that real big protest? I think it was Philadelphia. You guys can correct me in the comments section. Where all their civil service workers who were collecting garbage walked off the job. Because they have a collective bargaining agreement where they can't be fired in some cases. But let me tell you a little dirty secret about certain unions. Some of them do get over. I never did. You know what I mean? I played by the rules, man. But you got a lot of them that just unfortunately are very nefarious. Very nefarious. Like the dock workers. Remember how they went on strike years ago during the COOF, the China virus? But anyway, allegedly, for legal reasons. But, if the customer is interested, if you're watching this, that's my offer. If not, I'll refund you in full. I did it recently with another customer. It's just really, really, it sucks that we're dealing with a time-honored, like the milkman, for example. It's a time-honored job. The milkman died, unfortunately, because now we have grocery stores. There's no need for the milkman. Just like, scissor shavers or scissor sharpeners. They actually used to have trucks back in the days where you can have your scissors and knives sharpened. Just like back in the days, why I still call my refrigerator an icebox to this day, because back in the days, they didn't have Freon refrigerators and all that kind of stuff, or coils in the refrigerator. The top section was literally meant for a block of ice to keep your food cold. So they would literally have a horse-drawn buggy dropping off ice to everybody who paid for that big block of ice so you can keep your food cold. That's a fact. But the Postal Service is antiquated. They suck. And it's costing me money. And at the end of the day, it's going to cost you money. And then, by the way, one other little note for all of this, for all of you. The post office raised their fucking rates. How do you like that? So now all of you are paying pennies more on the dollar to buy, not just off of me, but my fellow sellers out there. Don't you love that stuff? And you don't even get your envelopes. That's why I make these videos. I never want anybody to think I'm trying to steal your money. I can produce the receipts anytime. You can always go to eBay as well, go through my sales, and you'll see. I think it's 1,100 or 1,300. I forget how many items I've sold up until this point. I forget. But it's very sad. It's very disgusting, and it's aggravating because it's costing me money, and it's costing you money as well. And that pisses me off to no end. Anyway, I don't want this to go into a 30-minute tirade. I'm looking at the clock right there. I see about 25 minutes have passed already. So, gentlemen, ladies, again, I apologize profusely for this happening. If the customer is watching, I do have this available. If I find a better Juan Soto than this one, I will offer that as well. If not, I'll refund you in full. But this is just, it's pathetic. It's really pathetic. Anyway, again, forgive me for having another video like this, but it needs to be addressed. All of this fuckery that goes on with this hobby in particular. And by the way, thank God for the return of Sports Card Radio. They are back. And I actually threw a couple of comments there in the chat and whatnot. And some of you are also followers of theirs. It was nice to see them back because of what's going on now with this bust that happened with a guy that unalived himself, allegedly, while the feds were busting. I don't remember the exact story, but apparently they found millions and millions of dollars of fake autos and memorabilia and all this crazy stuff. This hobby, man, the sports card hobby and the sports hobby in general, it's nefarious, man. And I'm beginning to wonder, did I do the right thing getting back into it? Anyway, I'm your host, the Carolina Collector. Stay frosty. Take care, everybody.